Alhamdulillahi wahda wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da amma ba'd. So we were going through some of the extra bits other than Quran, Sunnah, Ijma, and Qiyas. We have taken few other sources, and they're part of our tools that the fuqaha, the imams would take and benefit from. They're like their saw, their chisel, their spanners or what not, whatever they need, they would take them and come up with a solution for us. So istihsan is one that we've already covered. The next is maslaha mursala, consideration of public interest, which was already been mentioned in the previous discussion on bid'ah. And urf, custom, is very important as well. There are certain customs which are taken seriously in Sharia. There are certain which are rejected. They're by no means wrong. There could be a lot of good in that. Istishab, and then saddu zariya, and like wahila shar'iyya. So there are quite a few. We just tackle some of those. So maslaha mursala is benefits or the public interest. When it is qualified as maslaha mursala, it refers to the unrestricted public interest. When people are benefiting from it. It is also called istislah, which is maslaha mutlaqa, on the account of it being undefined by the established rule of the Sharia. But this is something which is needed for the benefit of people. Maslaha consists of consideration which secure a benefit or prevent a harm, but which are simultaneously harmonious with the objectives of Sharia. Remember that, objectives of Sharia. These objectives consist of protecting the 5 essential values. The higher objectives of Sharia are religion, life, intellect, lineage, and property. So these are the 5 things that Sharia tries to protect. Whenever we get a ruling, it is protecting one or the other. Could be more than one. So now you would know why, alcohol is haram, because you would then lose your wisdom. So your honor would be gone. You'll be disrespected by people because your intellect is gone. Your honor is gone. Some scholars add 6th one, which is honor. Your intellect goes. You don't know what you're doing, what you're saying. And then you start charging others. So their honor, you would question as well. Why theft is haram and a major sin, and a punishment by penalty, by cutting the hands. Why that is? Because it is securing others' wealth, their property. Why killing is not allowed? Because you're just protecting their life. Why can't you, have any relationship with other people? Fornication, for example. Why? To protect the lineage. So those are the 5 or 6, if you want to add honor there, higher objectives of Sharia, which all the rules of Sharia protect, one or more. Okay. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala, he compiled the book, the Quran, which was scattered in different records, and made it into a book form. That's one. Second, he also waged war on those who refused to pay the zakat. This was all in public interest. People needed to have Quran together so that they can recite properly. Not everyone was Hafiz. After Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left, after Sahaba, people would need to memorize or learn it. If they haven't got any copy of it, then how would they do? There was a need of the time. People needed it. Likewise, those who stopped giving zakat from that tribe, it would just make it so common that everyone else would start claiming the same thing. We don't want to pay any zakat. We don't want to. All the tribes would start saying the same thing. And what would happen? The mal, the 2.5%, which is the right of the Baitul Mal, the government's treasury, wouldn't come to that, and they wouldn't be able to support the families, the people, the poor people in the society. How would government work if you do not have anything? This tax generally is not allowed in Islam. So that zakat money was the only way of sorting out some of the problems in the society. So he had to wage war to make sure that no one distinguished between salah and zakah. They are most important, essential, integral parts of Sharia. Then they had they established prisons, they imposed some certain tax when it was needed, and they issued some currencies. So all important parts. So what are the types of maslah? Some masalih is a plural of maslaha. You do for daruriyat, which is essential. That's whatever is needed in absolute terms. If you do not have that, that would cause trouble. You may actually lose your life as well. If you did not have that, actually a very important aspect of the life. Hajiyat is a complementary one, and tahsiniyat, which is the embellishments, additional. So essentials, the life is dependent on these. If you do not go for those, there'll be chaos. Again, so you prevent or protect religion, life, intellect, lineage, and property. Some say honor as the sixth one, as I said. So penalties, for example, and government's role to create jobs for people, that is part of Sharia, that is important. You have to do that, otherwise people's life would be at stake. The compulsory one, they supplement. They are important. Neglecting them would not lead to death or big chaos, but there's still a lot of hardship in the society though. And that is why there are two prongs to it. You can go for rukhsa, which is concession, or you could go for ibaha, or the same thing. Ibaha, rukhsa is the same thing. Or you could go for azima. Azima is a tough stance, and rukhsa and ibaha easy. For example, when you're traveling, you cut short your prayer, Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha. 4 rakat becomes 2 rakat. And that's just to reduce the hardship. You're a traveler or you're sick, you're allowed to not fast and make it up later on. You've got this provision. So that is just to help. Otherwise, there'll be hardship. Now, don't think about travel of the modern time. In the plane, in car journey, 48 miles is not nothing. You have fun, and then within an hour or so, you're out of 48 miles. Talking about on camels in hot weather, you haven't got anything en route, no ATM cards and nothing, whatever is on your camel, that's the bit that you would have. So it takes 3 days to walk 48 miles on a camel. So you could imagine how troublesome it would be if you have ever traveled in train for 24 hours, from Karachi to Lahore, maybe 17, 18 hours, then you know what happened to you once you've completed that journey. Likewise, hunting, for example, it's permissible, although it's not when you need it for food, that's a different matter. When you need it for fun and food, then it's easy. It's a little bit of a recreation. And then embellishments are it would just improve your situation overall. Maybe some desirable benefits, but by no means a must. Cleaning yourself, keeping you up to date all the time, extra perfume and things like that. You can live without that, but these are important things as well. Sharia consider that. And staying away from extravagance, because that would cause problem to many others. So you have that, you wasted your money here, what happened in future? You might need that. The Sharia would say, don't do that. Keep nice and clean. All of that is going to have a healthy society, better society. And moderation, whenever there's any doubt, the benefit goes to the criminal, because they are by default not guilty, but you have to prove beyond shadow of doubt. So if you find any loophole there, you give them benefit of doubt and lessen their punishment. For example, they stole, but you identified that actually they were starving for 2-3 days. Their children were dying of hunger. There was disease in the family. Without tablets, without medication, they had no way. So the father actually stole for that reason. So the intent there was not to harm someone else, not to encroach on their boundaries, not to cause any trouble to their life or their property, but it was just a dire situation. That is why Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala in his time, he removed that, penalty from that individual who did it for that reason. So yeah, so that's called maslaha mursala, when in the public interest, you go about certain things to make it easy, and Sharia would have that in place. So that would make it very clear, inshallah ta'ala, to us that Sharia has taken care of everything that we need to know, everything we need to, go by. Because in the modern world, you would find many people start trying to revise all those, rules which have been, mashallah, applied and practiced for 1400 years, and life has been a lot easier and smooth. Now we all want to challenge it and change it, and that's going to cause a lot of trouble. We shouldn't be bending over backwards to satisfy our desires and still continue to claim that we are Muslim, and yet we don't want to follow anything of Islam. It's like the other religion, as they have done. There's nothing of Christianity left, literally, in practice. They just chop and change whatever they want to. Now is the time for Muslims to be doing the same as a demand in the society goes. We need to stick up and continue to follow the path of the previous predecessors, the pious people of the past, so that we do not become a victim of our own desires and whims. May Allah make us people of taqwa, those who would follow the path of the pious people of the past. May Allah give us all the tawfiq to stay good and nice. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.